Friday. This is Coffee with the Summerland Kids. We're aloha spirit because we're from Summerland, California. That's what's up. It's Shaka
Shaka
bra.
bra.
Yeah, exactly.
I like the hat, bro.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's actually what is this stuff? It's like beaver, something with beavers. I don't know how they do that magical felt magic. So it's kind of like a Indiana Jones.
Beaver felt,
so it's
huh?
June 14th. Yeah, it's June 24th, or sorry, June 14th, 2024. And this is episode 50. So here we are on episode 50 of the Summerland Kids.
I can't believe it. Episode 50.
I know, right? 50 days, man. It's pretty incredible.
That means we've been going 10 weeks.
Whatever that is, I'm bad. Sometimes I did dyslexic math, you know? Yeah. So it's some time. I mean, 50 shows. I guess it's about 20 shows per month. So we're looking at 2 months plus of shows, you know?
No, that's cool. You know, I've always liked the idea of doing something regular.
Yeah. It takes us back to our early years when we were in the grind zone of like, I think I inspired like my boss to do the 8 to 5 because one time I kind of left service for a while and came back and they had like gravitated starting at 9 and I'm like, what is this, man? 9 o'clock, come on, you know, because the 8 to 5 gives you like a 1 hour lunch break and you know I was down for that, you know, more or less. So you get your 8 hours in your day, you know.
Yeah, I mean the break, the pause is an important thing. I do believe that if you have a minute or two or like an hour lunch, you get some time for yourself. Or
Yeah,
you know, I know some people will take their lunch hour to do things, maybe go down to the DMV or go take care of some shopping.
yeah, exactly.
Because if you're at work all day, every weekday, you know, it can be kind of difficult to get some of those things done.
Yeah, for sure. It's next to impossible. I mean, we had my last real steady job was working for the Humane Society thrift store here in Pagosa Springs, and we were all about a half-hour lunch, and even then, my buddy and I, who were running the work in the department, we had a hard time even doing that because the people our level of service was, I think, extremely high. So we were just on a constant like, hi, I'm here to drop off some donations. And we were just like, okay, man, let me help you with that. Boom, boom, boom. And then pretty soon we missed our lunch break or something, or, you know, that was just a challenge, you know, when you're so busy that you can barely break.
Yeah, I remember being back at work and having, you know, an hour lunch and still that was barely enough time to go to even somewhere fast food, order your food, get your food, eat your food, and then get back to the job site on time. It's so nice that my job these days is just the radio thing here, the podcast.
Yeah, and Summerland Pickers, yeah,
Summerland Pickers. It's you know, I'm a weirdo. I guess ADHD. They can blame it on that.
Yeah.
But I get bored with stuff. You know, like if I'm doing the same thing every day, I get bored. But it's too interesting to me because I don't get bored with this.
Right. Yeah. Me neither. Yeah. Exactly.
It actually takes me back to that childlike moment of, oh, hey, is Jericho up yet? Let's see what's going on today.
Yeah, exactly.
Your mustache is getting really nice, bro.
Yeah, it's getting there, man. I'm working on it. You know, like I should be waxing it daily or maybe watching some YouTube tutorials on waxing and all that stuff, but I haven't got there yet. But so yeah, just what do you call it? You told me about the training, you know, the training.
You train it, yeah.
Yeah. So that's
I remember when I was in high school, you know, I trained my hair, and it had the feathers. You know,
Oh, rad.
back in the day, how the feathering hair was kind of the rock star, the hair metal type thing. And not that I went all the way with that, but I definitely have been growing the hair for some time.
Yeah, that's cool. So you're in like your third year now since you shaved it, or is it coming up on?
Yes, I have. I'm not gonna lie. The girl comes by every now and then and goes, "Oh, let me trim it," and she's real careful.
Yeah, that's cool.
And the beard, you know, she trims it flat. I was gonna have her maybe trim it at an angle this time, so that way I can do that.
Yeah. There's that
look.
one. What's that guy's name? Is it? It's not Merlin, but there's a bad guy in Flash Gordon. He had a special name. I can't remember his name, but it was Flash Gordon's like. There's some badass dude in Flash Gordon that had a rad beard that was like the double Fu Manchu style. Where it's like
I remember it was like super pointy too, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, exactly.
But it wasn't gray like this. It was more black. I remember it was a little dark, real dark brunette, I guess is the proper terminology for hair color.
Right. God.
Oh yeah. So thanks for coming on early this morning.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
The doctor 7:45. You ever had a doctor appointment at 7:45 in the morning?
No, not so much. I mean, I did have a few 8 a.m.s, not too long ago, dealing with like teeth, like the whole dental thing. And I can't remember last time it might have just been a cleaning or something like that. I mean, I'm definitely in the system now for annual, what do you call it? Cleanings, and then just the normal dental stuff you're supposed to do. So I'm in the zone of trying to be regular with that and all that. So that's a good thing, because sometime I did take a time out from that, but I'm back in the zone with that. So that's good.
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of lucky. I've got an insurance that covers most things. I mean, most of the maintenance and stuff. I always like to joke that I paid more for my false teeth than I did for my truck.
Wow. Yeah, dude. That truck, the new one you're talking about, was it the V10? The V10? Yeah. You'll have to just feel out the market, to see if what but I know, like you said, it's kind of an advantage to get the boxes checked off in terms of what people like. I guess in California, of course, they want their vehicle to be pre-smogged, I guess. And that's a whole thing that you had to deal with the Cadillac Converter, because maybe it was an out-of-state truck, right?
It was an out-of-state truck. It does have all the California compliant equipment. What I'm pretty sure happened is the guy that had it, catalytic converters being expensive, and not required in Nevada. There's no point. You're allowed to have straight pipes. I love the sound of it. Don't get me wrong. I love the sound of it with the straight pipes. It does kind of got a throaty sound to it.
Wow.
And I do like the fact that it's so powerful. Like I get on the freeway when I, was doing the test drives, had the moving permit, wanted to run through, make sure there's no problems with the gas line, put some fuel cleaner in there and everything, so it would potentially pass smog. And so you get on the freeway and you depress the accelerator and whoa.
Wow. Yeah. Dude, I wonder what the weight, were you saying when they weighed it, it was kind of heavy?
They had estimated it at 5,000.
Okay.
And so I had paid the fees because pickup trucks are commercial vehicles. That's how they consider it. And then in order to get the California tags from the lost title situation that I had,
right,
basically had been off anybody's computer for at least 2 years.
Oh, okay.
But in California, they require a certified weight.
Okay.
And so before I had it weighed, they just estimated, it's a pickup truck, 5,000 pounds. Let's pay for it that. And then I took it in. It was, I guess, 5,400 pounds.
Oh, what? So close. So close.
And then they want 75 more bucks.
Oh, okay. Classic. Whatever, man. Jumping through the hoops, huh? Basically.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because I don't know. I've been, looking up all this stuff on registration, and I don't know how it came into my feed, but something came into my feed about California considering a mileage tax. How many miles are you driving? Let's put a GPS on your car so we know how many miles you drive. We know what to charge you, because we got to charge your gas tax. We got to charge every other tax. Let's charge you a travel tax.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, it's just like, I guess it encourages people to, like when I lived in downtown Los Angeles, of course I rode my skateboard around a lot. And I was doing that because I had to like park a good distance from my neighborhood. So I didn't have to pay for parking. But what else? And then, of course, public transportation down there, you can jump on the subway and get places. So it kind of leaned towards living in a city, not having a car was a real option, to avoid that. But when you're out in the country, it's like I can't. There's no public transportation here, so I have to freaking drive 7 miles to get into town. So it's Colorado is. There's no smog things here. I don't think. I mean, I think the cars, they're just assuming people drive cars that are not gross polluters or whatever, although there's that funny thing. I can't remember what they call it, but it's something about with usually diesel trucks. And I think they call it like blowing smoke or something, where they'll actually click something like a switch and it'll blow black smoke out the back.
I don't think that's a switch. I think what it is diesel doesn't burn as clean.
Okay.
And so when you can get maximum power,
right,
it starts belching that black smoke. Like, I don't know if you've ever watched the racetrack. Or like the tractor pulls.
The tractor pull, yeah. I think they call it burning coal. Burning coal.
It's reasonable.
Yeah, and sometimes the guys do it because they're just kind of like essentially like blowing off steam. It's sort of an FU to the government too, I believe. I don't partake in that, but it's really like a uncork that thing and blow out that black coal, like black dark smoke. I haven't seen anyone do it lately, but I've seen a couple of guys do it here. So it's kind of like a, classic cowboy. I'm being an a-hole. F you, I'm driving by downtown and blowing like black smoke out the back,
Yeah, I guess it could be that. And then, you'll see it in the trucks, the semi trucks when they're going uphill. They kind of got to gear down and get the engine RPMs up. Totally. And, kind of heavy on the foot to carry a heavy load up a hill.
Right.
And, that's what it is. I think,
How's the body on that truck? The V10, is the body pretty nice all around?
It's pretty nice all around. There's a couple spots of rust.
Okay.
And, I am considering just keeping it. I mean, I do like to drive it as just, a big truck, and the Summerland pickers, sometimes these things are kind of big.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you got to pick up, you just never know what you're going to find when you have the capability to get it. And then of course, with that thing, you could probably, does it have a tow package on it or no? Does it have a tow hitch?
It does. It's cool. It's got one on the front too.
Oh, nice. Okay. So it's set up, man. That's like the ultimate Summerland pickers mobile. Cause next thing you know, you get a trailer, like a flatbed trailer, a stake side, and then you're full on, man.
Yeah, it's fun. I've had a few little hot rod kind of style or collectible style cars. I had back right out of high school. I had one of them Datsun pickup trucks.
Okay, yeah.
And then I ended up getting one of those Japanese crate motors where they.
Oh wow!
I guess in Japan you're only allowed 40,000 miles on a motor, and then you got to replace the motor. And it just seemed faster.
Oh, wow. That's good.
And I had a little Datsun 510 too. So
Mhm.
I have had a couple little sportsy cars.
Yeah, yeah. But the truck is a good thing. It's like a I mean, it's always the classic thing is like the guy who has the van or has the truck is always like the good friend to have. You know, like
Oh goodness. It
I always
seems
go,
like you're the best friend of everybody moving when you have a
yeah,
truck.
of course, yeah, and especially in your case, it's kind of good because you're just like the token guy with the truck, but you're the driver as well, but you're not picking up anything with your hands and moving it. You know, that's the hard part when it's like the double whammy of yeah, he can move stuff himself and he has a truck or van. Then you're just like, dude, that's a paycheck, kind of style. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard for me to think about it because when I was young and loading steel, that was my
yeah,
job.
dude,
Oh
yeah,
gosh, I could do anything. And
right,
as my back and my neck degenerate, is what they
yeah,
call it. I have to I
well,
have to do stuff to keep my body in motion,
yeah, of
but
course.
it's like a fine line. If I do too much, it it it'll throw my whole week off sometimes. And
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I had it happen to me at the store, and I had to take a few days off for sure. And I actually went to the local medical clinic right away, just to be like, hey, I'm not going to mess around with this. I just want to see what's up. And I think it was just a pulled muscle or something. I don't even know what it really was, but they did give me some little light dose of some sort of pain medication. They asked me if I wanted a shot, and I said no. I'll go without the shot. But it was literally that kind of thing where even laying in bed was painful. It was. I had to almost in some cases like crawl to the bathroom because it was just so intense the pain. It would literally take you to your knees style, where it was like almost like someone was poking you with a hot poker or some crap. So that was I feel like I've dealt with level 10 pain or maybe level 9 or level 8 because I know level 10 is, I mean, there's some level where it's off the chart. Right? So
yeah, yeah,
that's
I have to really manage. They called it
manage
pain management when I was
pain
going to the
management.
doctor regularly.
Yeah.
But then what happens is the pills that they give you that work for a while become less and less. They work less and less. You build a tolerance up.
Yeah. Right.
That's way back in the day there wasn't even hydrocodone, and then they came up with hydrocodone, and then they oxycodone,
Oh,
and now what do they got? I don't even know what they call it,
yeah.
but it was created for pain,
Yeah.
and now it's a street drug.
Oh,
Yay!
right. Dude. Yeah.
Fentanyl, that's one. I don't know if you
God.
got that stuff up in Colorado, but it seems to be everywhere.
Yeah. No, I don't really, I'm sort of like, I'm definitely like isolated. And then since I'm not on the crew, I'm just working for myself right now. So I'm pretty much like not having a lot of connections in that regard. So, I mean, when I was downtown Los Angeles, you'd be walking down the road and then someone would be like, calling out what they got to sell. So, anyways, when you're not in the city or not hooked up to the folks that are in that game, but I'm out of it basically. So,
No, it may be a good thing. It may not, I guess. I mean, I know
yeah.
socializing is an important thing, but sometimes the socialization, peer pressure,
Oh,
hey, do
right.
this, try that.
Yeah.
And, it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, people joke about it, but it
Right.
really is here. The first one's free.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
so,
No, for
oh, wow,
sure.
that's interesting. I would like some more. Okay, well, it's really cheap right now.
Yeah.
And then, oh, well, now I want the good stuff. Well, the good stuff's a lot more.
Yeah.
Well, you're hooked. You just bit that lure. You're reeled in.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, that's the classic scenario. I'd rather stick to the old fashioned, like in Hawaii in the early 80s, let's say mid 80s. Hawaii's always been known for some good 420, some good herbal medicine from Hawaii, the pakalolo, the Maui Wowie, and that kind of stuff. So that was like, plants in the early 70s. I want to say there was a few guys that were in those days, like coming out of the 60s, who really sort of perfected it. And they were just good farmers. And that was a blessing to be growing up in those times when good farming and simple techniques brought you some really nice plants. And you're stoked because your friend was an amazing grower, or your friend of a friend, da 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 da. That was the cool thing about growing up back then. And then, of course, the music and the culture went along with it. So we had Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, The Doors, all the 60s bands that were there was like our parents' music, but it became kind of our music at some point too,
Oh, absolutely. I still love the Beatles. And even though that wasn't my era of music, I grew up with it. I really enjoy it to this day. I'll still pull up some every now and then on my playlist. And, like the Doors. I mean, I guess the Doors is one of my, Jim Morrison particularly, one of my, I wouldn't say idol, but I definitely see what he did as far as his poetry.
Yeah.
Being something that I kind of am drawn to, just because, for whatever reason. I don't know if you've seen any of my posts. Sometimes I get the writer's block, maybe.
Yeah.
And so I'll make a post, hey, give me some prompts. And it always seems that when I get a little prompt from somebody, it just brings a little bit more emotion, I guess, to my writing, which makes it more enjoyable for me.
That's cool.
And I do think it does, make a little bit higher quality poem. I mean, it's not just cat in the hat. Look at that.
Yeah.
It's meaning. It's meaningful.
It's a little deeper. Yeah, that's cool. I actually have a friend, it's a family. Jim Morrison was whether it was his mom's brother or his aunt's brother or something like that. So there was some family connection to Jim Morrison. And then the family actually got a lot of poetry books of his. And then I think they eventually turned them over to some sort of archive of, reproducing the poetry for to get it out there to the public, essentially. So I haven't done a lot of looking into Jim in terms of his poetry, but I'm sure there's there seems like there should be a fair amount on the internet, right? Jim Morrison's poetry.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you just look at the songs. I mean, the story I heard is that
the lyrics.
You found him.
About the lyrics.
Yeah, they found him, in LA, and they're like, wow, this is amazing poetry. Can we come along? We're going to make songs out of it. And it's like, wow.
Yeah. Val Kilmer, I believe, played Jim, and Val Kilmer did a good job. And they said it was a little over exaggerated, of course, but that's just what Hollywood does. They have to a little bit elaborate on the character a little bit more. Of course, there's all the stage presence of him, all the footage of him on stage, which is amazing because you can really see his, once he sort of came out a bit, because I guess at first he was actually not facing the audience for some time. He was a little bit more shy. So it kind of took him a bit to warm up to being on stage and taking that role. But once he fully embraced the role, it was a major stage presence that he had, to connect with the audience. And my mom and dad both, I believe, saw them play. I know possibly Earl Warren Showgrounds. Back in the day, they used to have some concerts there in that dome.
The Earl Warren Showgrounds. I remember going to the Santa Barbara swap meet there. Right. I remember the carnival or fair there.
Yeah, totally. They still do that.
Actually, yeah, because I remember it's right off the freeway.
Yeah, Las Positas exit. Yeah, that place was cool. And then they also had some cool, the Grateful Dead played a handful of times down at the Ventura County Fairgrounds. it's been quite a number of years, but that was like just sort of an annual thing that they would probably play the Ventura Fairgrounds area, you know. And I'm sure the Dead
Can you
probably played.
imagine that, Jericho? The life of a musician. I'm going here, I'm going there, I'm playing my songs, I'm all the time on the road, all the time up on stage, all the time preparing, traveling.
Yeah.
I think, that would be kind of a hard job.
No, right? Well, it's, for me right now, I would say I would be more on the road or inclined to be on the road if I, taking care of the parents is a big deal, so I think a lot of those people had the upswing in their timeline was that they were in their early 20s and 30s, some of them, when they were really free to just go be full on and get in the zone. And then those guys like Rolling Stones, man, those guys are still doing it on occasion. They're touring because I realized at a Grateful Dead show a long time ago, I saw a few shows, and those guys just genuinely love to play. They just really love the music, and they're super passionate about it. And that's what I realized when I was seeing the Dead, because I wasn't a big Dead fan, but I'm like, I went with a girlfriend. She took me along. I'm like, all right, now I see it. I understand it, because these guys just, like I said, just love to play music, and that's their thing. They just fit. Their audience obviously is incredibly passionate about them, or they were, before Jerry died. I think I remember when Jerry died, I was in high school,
Yeah, a couple of friends of mine were, I guess, call them the Deadheads. They travel around and go see the shows, and then once the Grateful Dead, changed up, then there was a couple. Dead and Company is one, and Fish, I guess.
Fish, yeah.
And
so then I think Widespread Panic or something like that.
Yeah, so that's the legacy, I guess, continues.
It does. It's pretty cool that they do that, and keep it going, because there's those people that maybe it's our nature in some ways to travel, like as we used to do, centuries ago. We were like migrant, traveling for reasons of maybe being closer to a better harvest location, better animals, whatever the reason for movement was. But there's something cool about coming to a new city or a new town and experiencing the things of that place. And then, so there's multiple experiences happening at the same time. And then, of course, like when there's a convergence like Woodstock or, the US Festival, or of course something like new like Coachella, people just really fall in and enjoy that passion for following the music. So cheers to that.
Yeah, that culture, culture travels with trade.
Exactly. It's like a traveling circus, or like you mentioned, the carnival, like a carny, like being literally a paid carny, because you're someone's got to drive those trucks, man, and someone's got to unload that equipment and build that stage, for the band to play. It's a lot of work. They have no idea what's behind the game, So
there's a lot of moving parts behind that zipper ride that everyone likes to ride at the carnival.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe today's sponsor is brought to you by the Roadies of America, and the Roadies.
Yes.
The Roadies out there. Cheers to the Roadies, man. Those guys are making it happen. I think Jackson Brown gives them a shout out in some song. Maybe it's The Pretender. I can't remember, but yeah.
Yeah, and then Jack Black, they wrote a song called The Roadie, which is actually one of my favorite songs, one of my favorite artists, I guess, if you will, musician / actor / comedian.
Right.
And don't forget Kyle Gass for Tenacious D.
Exactly. The best supporting, the right-hand man, the guy who's essentially backing your play the whole time, so that's what's up.
That is what's up, Jericho. Thank you for coming on early.
Yeah, absolutely. Cheers to you, man. Cheers to show number 50. We'll be back on Monday for episode 51. So we'll see you then.
Awesome. Smash the like. Tigger likes you. Ta-ta for now.
Ta-ta for now. Have a